On to more local news, the National Movement for Social Justice says that if the present government fails to abolish the executive presidency, it would field a common candidate at the next presidential election and abolish it. Its national convener, Venerable Maduluave Sobitathera, made this statement when he called on the chief prelates of the Askiri and Malwatu chapters today.
The first copy of the amended bill of the proposed constitution compiled by the National Movement for Social Justice was presented by Venerable Maduluave Sobitathera to the chief prelate of the Askiri chapter, Most Venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakithera. The Mahinda Chintane clearly states that a Prime Minister who will report to Parliament will be appointed and that the executive presidency will be abolished. However, this is yet to be done. Therefore, we decided to present a 19th amendment to the Constitution and stop the preferential voting system and appoint parliamentarians according to the number of electorates. We will make a unanimous decision to field a common candidate at the next presidential election to see that the executive presidency is abolished within 120 days and establish democracy and good governance. Parliamentarians who were defeated at elections and those who have been politically appointed are occupying portfolios in the state administrative service. They are not aware about the activities. We lost at the United Nations because suitable individuals were not dispatched. The diplomatic service has deteriorated. Another copy of the amended bill of the proposed constitution was presented to the Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thero.
Meanwhile, at the Cabinet media briefing held today, journalists raised questions regarding the government's stance on abolishing the executive presidency.
I believe that J.R. Jayawardena saw the need for a presidential system to maintain stability in a country. I think this is what he meant. So if we are moving from one side to another, then we need to have extensive discussions about it. Terrorism could not have been defeated if there was no executive president. I don't think it is necessary to suddenly abolish the executive presidency. That is my view. However, if a decision regarding it has to be taken, then a certain procedure must be followed. A sudden decision cannot be taken merely because certain individuals call for it to be abolished.
At a media briefing convened by the Sri Lanka Freedom Party today, views were expressed on the registration of the new political party of former Army Commander Sarath Fonseka.
ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී රටක තියෙන ලක්ෂණයක් ඒක දේශපාලන පක්ෂයක් බිහිවීම තමන්ට කැමති මතයක් ප්‍රකාශ කිරීම තමන්ගේ අදහස ප්‍රකාශ කිරීම ඒක රටේ නිදහස ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදය විකල්පයක්.
An alternative force should speak of an alternative. I think I should direct this question at Ranil Wickremesinghe and so on Shamara. We cannot talk about the alternative. We are requesting him to register himself for the elections.
අපිට කියන්න බෑ විකල්පයක්. අපි එතුමාගෙන් ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා කරුණාකර ඡන්දය වෙනුවෙන් ලියාපදිංචි වෙන්න කියලා.
නෑ එතුමා අභියෝගයක් කරා ප්‍රදේශ ප්‍රජායකේ ලබා දීලා ඡන්දයකදී එතුමාට මොහොත දෙන්න පුළුවන් නම්
ඔය ටික අධිකරණ කටයුත්තක් නෙමෙයි. අපි පක්ෂයෙන් කරපු එක නෙමෙයි අධිකරණ.
ඒකට ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්න ඕනද සරපන්තේ පස්සේ?
ඒ කියන්නේ
අභියෝගයක් කරනවා පුළුවන් නම් මගේ සිවිල් ලයිසන්ස් ආපහු දෙන්න මාතේ තරම් කරන්න ඉන්න කියලා. දැන් සිවිල් ලයිසන්ස් ආපහු ලබා ගන්න එතුමා මේ ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්න ඕනද හෝ වෙන කවුරු හරි අලස් මහත්තයාගේ කවුරු හරි නිගොෂියේට් කරනවා.
අලස් මහත්තයා පක්ෂේ ඉන්නවද?
ආරංචියක් නෑ. එහෙම ඉල්ලීමක් කරනකොට ඔබතුමාලා වැඩි සලකා බලන්න කැමතිද?
ඔය කවුරු ඉල්ලීමක් කරත් ඒක
ඉල්ලීම් කරන්න අයිතිය තියෙනවනේ ඕන කෙනෙකුට.
ඒක සලකා බලන්නේ ජනපදව.
Welcome back to the news. President Mahinda Rajapaksa paid his final respects to the most venerable Aramangoda Panya Tilaka Thera, the late Mahanayaka of the all-island Amarpura Chula Gandhi Mahanikaya, yesterday. The remains of most venerable Aramangoda Panya Tilaka Thera have been placed at the Dalugama Viharya. The president paid his final respects to the late Thero and also offered his condolences to the monks present at the funeral.
Megoda Kolonnawa is an area which belongs to the Colombo district. However, the people of Megoda Kolonnawa face an issue that is common in rural areas. News First Charit Taumal now takes a look.
The people of Megoda Kolonnawa have been affected by this problem for years. The water supply to this area is insufficient for the growing number of families who call Megoda Kolonnawa their home. More than 100 families are severely affected by this water problem. The area residents have to travel far to obtain water for their daily needs.
Mount Ravinia District Court Judge Priyanto Fernando issued an enjoining order preventing Nishantha Ranatunga from being reappointed to the position of Secretary of the Sri Lanka Cricket Executive Committee.
The Sri Lanka cricket elections is due to be held on the 16th of this month. The enjoining order will be effective until the 18th of April. According to the order made by the Mount Lavinia District Court, the 22 individuals in the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Cricket, including its president, cannot appoint, convene or engage in any activities relating to Sri Lanka cricket. Meanwhile, President of the Court of Appeal, Justice S. Skandaraja, who considered the plaint filed by Telangana Samutipala against the rejection of his nomination to the post of President of SLC, said that a decision in this regard will be announced tomorrow.
Well, I filed action in Court of Appeal asking for a writ against the decision of the Minister of Sports with regard to the committee findings and his subsequent decision to suspend and cancel my nomination for the post of President for the year 2013, 2014 and 15 for the Sri Lanka cricket. Well, to date he has not given me a reason, or he has never given any committee findings, and therefore I have come before court to ask for relief and judgment, or rather the decision with regard to the interim injunction will be given tomorrow.
On to business news, experts and representatives from various sectors point out that the electricity tariff revision proposed by the Ceylon Electricity Board is devoid of transparency. This was revealed when public views were sought by the Public Utilities Commission today on the proposed revision of electricity tariffs.
The estimated expenditure for this year is 256 billion rupees. 75% of the expenditure is for electricity generation, while the remaining 25% is used for other purposes. According to the present tariff system, I can only obtain 178 million rupees. Accordingly, my budget deficit will be 78 billion rupees. Through this tariff system, an extra revenue of 45 billion rupees can be generated.
බිලියන 45ක අමතර ආදායමක්.
ආය ක්‍රමයේ ආය ගාස්තු වැඩි කිරීමට අවශ්‍යතාවයක් තියෙන බව මා පිළිගන්නවා.
I accept that there is a need for a tariff hike. The proposal made by the CEB and the document presented by the Commission should be based on the National Energy Policy, the General Policy Guidelines, the Guidelines of the Electricity Act, the Tariff Methodology, Guidelines of the Tariff System and the previous tariff decision of the Commission. I am of the view that the proposal presented by the CEB violates these 5 documents. Furthermore, the document presented by the Commission violates various facts mentioned in the 5 documents. The CEB is not requesting for a price hike. Therefore, we believe that there will be no price hike for consumers there.
වැඩි කිරීමක් ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ නැහැ. එම නිසා අපි හිතන්නේ සමාගමේ පාරිභෝගිකයින්ට මිල වැඩිවීමක් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ කියලා.
යුනිට් 48ක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න බැරි.
If a household cannot use 40 units, we consider it as a household with an electricity deficiency. When there is a 60% increase through this revision in electricity tariffs, on one hand the electricity deficiency increases, while on the other hand effect of poverty will also increase.
The case filed by parliamentarian attorney at law Sujiva Senasinghe concerning a plot of land in Slave Island, Colombo was postponed until the 17th of May. The case was postponed based on a personal request made through the Supreme Court by MP Sujiva Senasinghe, who is the petitioner of the case.
The MP filed a case citing that injustice had been caused to the residents of a 7-acre plot of land in Slave Island, which was granted to an international company.
This is a case came up regarding the Slave Island. About 600 families are involved in this, affected by this, and they have promised that they'll pay 43 lakhs per perch as compensation, and we have asked them to actually increase the perch price, take it as a whole area, not as individual household, and the people have asked to give them a proper valuation, and people who are not going to take the valuation, they are going to be actually given alternative flats, something more than that they have already, and we would like to say that we will fight on behalf of the people. I would give my fullest support to these people to safeguard their rights.
In other local news, plantation trade unions and plantation companies reached a decision to increase the wages of estate workers. General Secretary of the Lanka Jatika Estate Workers Union, K. Velayudan, who signed the collective agreement on behalf of the trade unions, said that the daily wage of an estate worker will be increased to 620 rupees. Both sides have agreed to increase the daily basic wage of 450 rupees by another 70 rupees. In addition, the attendance incentive will be increased to 140 rupees and an allowance of 30 rupees will be given to estate workers based on the price of tea. Meanwhile, customs officials seized a container carrying a stock of cigarettes that were illegally imported to the island from Dubai.
According to Sri Lanka Customs, the container was seized after closely monitoring recent activities. A resident from North Tandia had imported the container under the guise of importing furniture. Meanwhile, another container carrying a stock of sprats that were unsuitable for human consumption was also seized by the customs today. 800 sacks containing 142,000 kilograms of sprats had been imported. Furthermore, species of fish and crabs that are prohibited from being exported were seized by custom officials at the Bandaranayake International Airport in Katunayaka. Customs spokesperson Leslie Gamani said that 80 fish known as halmal dandia and 70 freshwater crabs were seized today.
Minister of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Development Dr. Rajitha Senaratne says that the fuel relief granted to fishermen has not been slashed. The minister made this comment at a media briefing held this morning.
The fuel relief granted to fishermen has not been slashed. I can say it with responsibility. There were certain delays in granting it in the past. We have already received the relevant coupons and we will implement this. The only problem we encountered when implementing it was that various corrupt activities had commenced. The Treasury was also informed about it.